All right.
Back.
We are back.
All right.
We're
We
here.
took a Good Friday hiatus, Easter
Yeah. Yeah.
Sunday, a little break from the old live feed read, but we're back.
Yep.
I'm Paul Reed, your host. Jason Crawford, the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson is also with us.
Welcome back.
Before we
Welcome
came
back.
on the air, we are just talking a little politics. And
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
show, we don't really talk politics, but we were
It's
just,
true.
I was just saying to start the show is it's really a simple fix depending on your town, your city, your county, your state, or the federal government.
Right.
If you do not like what your local politicians are doing, if you do not like what your county politician, your state politician, your elected federal politician, i.e., the Republicans or Democrats that Florida
Sure.
elects, the two senators that Florida elects, vote differently.
Yeah.
But
I
don't
mean,
just sit there, which is not going to happen, Jason. Everyone has said this because the philosophy is, well, the people I vote for are good. It's the other people's politicians that are screwing everything up. You know
sure.
what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. The blame
So it's
game.
not going to change, but it is
Right.
simple. If you live in a state that you don't like what's going on, or vote differently. If
Yeah.
you
You
don't,
know,
if you don't, honestly, shut the heck up and move on.
what's really dawned on me since moving to Tallahassee and
Oh,
being up here is I didn't realize how much I wasn't following. I thought, getting this on the news or getting that on the news is one thing, but there are so many bills and there's so much they talk about and points of view and arguments and debate and like there's so many tiny bills. And then after the bills, you have rules that get written on how they get applied and like there's so much that goes into it. I mean, if you like you said, if you're complaining and you want something to be done, you gotta pay closer attention than Twitter, and
yeah.
you gotta
Or
vote.
yeah, it's that simple. So on that
Yeah.
note, let's talk about Tallahassee.
Okay.
As people I'm sure know, the Florida Supreme Court on April the 1st basically ruled that by way of a citizen initiative, the Floridians get to vote on the abortion issue and the
Okay.
marijuana issue. The
Okay.
marijuana issue is simple. It's whether or not you can basically buy marijuana without the doctor's card. So they call that recreational purchase. That's really simple. It's just,
Okay.
and I think it's up to 3 ounces. Jason, I don't know if you're a connoisseur of the fine weed,
No.
but
No.
dude, 3 ounces, that's a lot of weed.
If it's the same measurement,
It's a it's
that's
a
like
it's
fluid
a good
ounces.
old
It's
Ziploc baggie full of this
yeah.
some three
Yeah.
ounces. So
It's not a small amount.
that's some stoning going on there now.
Not a
Um,
small amount.
and what happened, and believe it or not, Florida is only one of a few southern states that allow citizen initiatives. Everybody
Mm.
up north and south and east and west criticizes us, but it's this citizen initiative is simply you get 1 million people to sign a petition,
Mm.
and then it can go on the ballot depending on the language and things of that nature. And in order to pass, you have to have 60% or more individuals. Just that simple.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So the marijuana one, that's just real simple. Recreational marijuana, I think up to 3 ounces, and you have to have 60% or more people pass it. My
And
guess is with the people that I know and love, and the people that I see in this city, in this state, in this county, in this town, probably gonna be about
it's probably gonna
95%.
pass. Yeah. Like, can I ask a question about the
Dude.
citizens initiative process?
Mhm.
So, when it comes to the ballot and you see it there, are they going to be lumped in with like, oh, this and this is lumped in together, or do they treat
Well,
these
it will be
usually
its own
separate?
little paragraph.
Okay,
Yep.
because I've seen them before where they're like you can do this, this, and this. Would you vote yes on Proposition 14 or whatever it is, you know?
Well, it's not supposed to be like that, so I would have to have seen it. But no,
Oh,
it will just be simple language to the tune. And you can go online and see the language if anybody wants to, because that's what they were arguing about up in Tallahassee in front of the Supreme Court of the state of Florida, is whether the language is clear and whether your average Floridian is too stupid to read it and understand what they're voting for. I mean, it's really asinine, to be honest.
yeah.
Bottom line, you're voting
Yeah.
whether or not you can have recreational marijuana without having to go see a doctor. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I
Now,
mean, it's funny that you mentioned Tallahassee.
do you know who doesn't like this and will vote no?
Uh, my mother-in-law.
No, the doctors. How much money are
Oh,
they making when
bro.
you got to
Yeah.
go in there
Yeah.
and pay 100, 200, $500 for your medical marijuana card? And
Yeah.
I don't know if they give it to you. I don't have one, whether they give it to you for a month or 6 months or a year, and then you have to follow up. Oh, they're going to lose
Hmm.
money.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you?
You know, what's funny, when I was down in Brandon, I remember seeing like maybe one marijuana shop or a smoke shop. It's not called, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, I'm telling you, up here in Tallahassee, bro, you can't go
Oh
around a
no,
corner.
they're
You can
popping up
see one
everywhere.
from the other.
Yeah.
Like they're everywhere,
God bless
man.
the 18 to 22-year-olds in Tallahassee.
What in the world, man?
But okay, so that's the one issue. Now
Okay.
here's the kicker.
All right.
What if they so desire? What is will happen and what is happening? The legislative body will control the potency the best they can of the
Hmm.
marijuana. Now, again,
Interesting.
I'm not a connoisseur or an
I
expert
don't
in
think any of them are either.
marijuana. Now, I know gummies and the edibles and
Uh-huh.
things. I don't know how you control the actual plant. Where you're
Yeah.
rolling up in
I'm
the.
sure I have friends who could tell me.
Well, yeah, but I don't know that you can
I'm
control
not
that as
researched.
much. All right. So number two, the other initiative is abortion. Now,
Okay.
here's what happened recently. The Florida Supreme Court on April 1st did two things. They said the 15-week ban that was signed into law was constitutional, which there was also a 6-week ban that was drafted after that. And what the government, the legislative body, the Republicans did, they put what's called a trigger. So if the Florida Supreme Court rules that the 15-week is constitutional, it triggered the 6-week ban automatically. So of course that will be challenged, but in the meantime, I believe in 30 days, so probably May 1st, give or take, Florida will have a 6-week ban, meaning you can get an abortion from 0 to 6 weeks. Now,
Hmm.
what they also did was then allow the abortion issue to be, which was a citizens initiative, to be placed on the ballot. So that 6-week ban could be in effect from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and so forth. Maybe a little less than a year.
Hmm.
Here's what some individuals are concerned with. I believe the term is up to viability.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the
Well,
language
I would
says.
not be shocked, and again, I am not taking a stand on abortion one way or the other, but I would
Hmm.
not be shocked if the term viability is somehow defined in the
Oh, sure.
statute that they create to follow the mandate. You follow me?
It'll have to be like in
Right.
rules or something.
And
There'll
so
have to be a
then,
definition.
it's a real cluster. But anyway, that's one thing that happened this week.
Interesting.
Um,
Did you catch the split on the vote? I just saw an
yeah,
article on it.
I just nope. I know what
It's
was happening.
it was 4-3,
Yeah.
and it was the four male justices and the three female justices.
Yeah. So anyway,
I thought that was interesting.
number two that we want to talk about. Oh, okay. So
Three. Number three.
we had talked about the Seminole Gaming Compact several months ago, wherein other gambling entities have sued the Indians or have sued the Seminoles in the state of Florida, I believe, and saying that the regulations that were enacted by DeSantis back in 2021 expanding gambling, i.e., the sports book on the phone, roulette, live roulette, and live
Right.
craps. It expanded it. Well, they were sued because there was a citizens initiative. Interestingly enough, people don't know this. There was a citizens initiative that was that the Seminole tribe were proponents, meaning they wanted this. They came out and advertised huge amounts of money saying, yes, this constitutional amendment will limit the ability for gambling to be expanded in this state unless the people vote on it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
People voted on it. It got passed. It was, what is it? Article X, Section 30 of the Florida Constitution says only the people of Florida can basically expand gambling, right?
Okay.
Well, the people of Florida did, unless I missed something and I didn't get my mail-in ballot, I didn't get a vote on the sports book. I didn't get a vote on to expand roulette and to expand gambling at the tribe. Did you?
No, I don't.
So
Not that I know
the
of.
argument is that the government expanded gambling in contradiction to the Constitution.
Interesting.
Which they did. So the same, interesting. So people can say that the same people, the Seminole tribe, that were for the Florida constitutional amendment limiting gambling, are now profiting and stating that, well, that what DeSantis and the boys did was not in contradiction to that amendment. Just like both sides, I'm taking the opposite side now because it benefits me. Actually, both of them benefited them. One, it kept competition out of the state of Florida. And two, well, obviously, they have now, within a couple of years of that amendment being passed, finagled themselves into more expensive gambling.
Interesting.
Without the people voting on it. Heck of a thing. God bless America.
Wow.
All right. So
I had no idea.
What is interesting though, back to this finally, the challengers filed what's called a writ of quo warranto. What that means is simply it's a civil remedy where individuals such as this challenged a public office holders authority to do these types of things, and the Supreme Court said no, that's not the right way to do it. They didn't rule based on improper procedure, so they just dodged it. Yeah, they just dodged it and said, well, you didn't do it the right way. Thanks for coming. What a crock.
They can do that?
Oh yeah, what a crock. So they didn't rule. They didn't rule if the people that are bringing the lawsuit are right. They just said, oh, you did it the wrong way.
What?
Let me just say, in legal terms, what crap. What crap. It's there in front of you. The argument is the argument. Step up to the plate, boys and girls, up at the Supreme Court, and do your job. Now, having said that, that leads me to my next little bit of information for TV World. Guess what we get to do in November and on every one of these 2-year elections?
Vote.
You get to vote whether the Supreme Court justices stay or go. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Well, the ones that are up for election, it may be all of them or maybe some, it says, should they stay or should they go? Meaning retain or not retain. Here's what TV World should do. And just so you'll know, I don't think any one of them have ever been booted.
Interesting.
But
what does it take? What do you know?
51%.
Oh, okay.
So here's what you need. Here's what I do every time. I vote, they got to go. Do you know why? You keep them honest. If they win 95%, they think they can do whatever they want, right? But if it's 55-45, yeah, they may get to stay, but somebody's
interesting.
watching. But somebody's watching.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, TV world, vote no on all of them. I just no, 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 no.
That's an opinion.
It is an
That's
opinion,
interesting.
but
That's
it's a
an
way
interesting take.
of letting the powers that be, and believe me, they are the powers that be, know
Certainly.
somebody's watching.
Yeah. And then is it okay, so is it like the federal Supreme Court where they're pretty much
Now,
locked
you don't
in?
vote on them. Florida's different. In Florida,
Right.
we get to vote on appellate court justices whether they get retained or not. We get to an appellate court would be the first district, second, third, and there'll be some of those as well.
And if they're
But
not retained,
you're
how
out.
does that
You're
get
out.
filled? How does
Oh,
that get filled
DeSantis
up?
gets to pick somebody else.
Ah, okay. Okay. And can he reappoint with the same person
That's a good
filling?
question. I don't know the answer to that, but boy, that wouldn't look good if the people
No,
of the state
no.
of Florida don't want this person,
And he's
and
like, ah,
you're supposed to honor or work
yeah,
for the state of Florida, the people.
right. Yeah, it would
It
not
would
be good
be a
optics.
slap in the face.
Yes.
So I don't know
Yes.
the answer, and honestly, it's never happened. No one's ever been voted out. But
Wow.
again, chew on that
That's
when you go to
wild.
step into the old voting booth on retain or not retain, and well, what did Paul say? He said, "Wait, maybe we just they're probably going to get retained, but we
You
there we
know,
go. We're keeping an eye on them."
this reminds me of that old story where like the friend goes to visit his friend and he goes up on his porch and his dog is laying there and he's like, "Hoo, hoo, 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 hoo," and then the friend comes to the door and he's like, "What's wrong with your dog?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." He's like, he looks ill. He's moaning and he goes, "No, he's laying on a nail." He's like, "Well, why doesn't he just get off the nail?" He's like, "He will when he wants to." It's
All
like
right.
it's at a certain
Yeah.
point you got to get off the nail.
Yeah, that was stupid. All right. So show this video, and we're going to talk
Yeah.
about
Okay.
uninsured motorist coverage because we've talked about it before, but I cannot reiterate how important it is. I don't think I can see it, but I've seen it because I sent it to Jason. This was
Mm-hmm.
captured on our cameras right outside the office here. We have
Mm-hmm.
the intersection, which is Lumsden and John Moore. And Jason, why don't you kind of what do you call it? Tell the people.
Narrate it.
Yeah,
Okay,
narrate.
so the beginning of the video where we're looking is this top left corner. You'll notice that there's a car here that's kind of sideways, halfway in, halfway out. And then apparently it's hard to see, but there's some collision,
Rear end accident.
rear end accident.
We
And
actually
then
signed the guy up today.
oh,
Yeah.
nice.
But go
And then
ahead.
the red car edges out and pulls into the lane. The car behind him narrowly stops. Is that the one that hit him? Was the van behind the
No,
red
the
car?
red car that goes by.
The red car that goes by is the one that hit the guy, the
Yes.
other person, and then took off. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause it's really hard to see. Anyway, there he goes
But
off
you
the
can see the
screen.
red car go by.
Yeah, I'll back it up just a hair. So at the very beginning of the video here, there's the fender bender, and then he's like weaves out of the lane into the other lane to skedaddle, and
Hit
then
and run.
and then he's gone.
But
And
do you see him
and
go
there
by
goes
the
the
red
evidence.
car?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, and so then there goes the evidence, and the question I think is, what do you do?
Well, that's the problem. So the anybody in that situation, the let's call it the plaintiff, the person that was rear-ended,
Mm-hmm.
if you were lucky enough for someone to get this person's tag number or some camera to catch it and so forth,
Whip out your
which
camera. Yeah.
did not happen here.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have uninsured motorist coverage, and this gentleman was injured, unless you have uninsured motorist coverage, you're just out of luck. And remember, I've said it before, what uninsured motorist coverage is, it doesn't mean that the person that hits you and who is negligent is at fault doesn't have insurance.
Right.
It means that the person either doesn't have bodily injury liability coverage or doesn't have enough. And
Right.
remember, in Florida, all you're required to have is $10,000 in property damage, meaning if you're at fault, your policy will pay up to $10,000, which is not enough. So
It's
you
not.
responsible people watching this, you need to get 25, 50,000, or even 100. I don't know of too many, cars that are $10,000 or less. if you total one of them. And
Mm.
and then PIP. The PIP's the
Yeah.
no fault, meaning it pays up to $10,000 in basically in medical bills and lost wages. That's
Hmm.
all that's required. Or if you're the victim of a hit and run, and don't know who it is, your uninsured motorist coverage would pay for unpaid medical bills, unpaid lost wages, and those damages we call pain and suffering. They're the non-economic damages.
Hmm.
Economic damages, medical bills, lost wages. Economic means, you can put the bill on, you can put the lost wages on.
Hmm.
Non-economic, those you really can't see, so to speak, which are pain and suffering. And
Hmm.
so if this individual, and I didn't sign him up, Jacqueline did, if he does not have uninsured motorist coverage, there's not going to be anything we can do for him. So
That's wild.
it's imperative to have uninsured motorist coverage. I can't say it enough. Uh,
Yeah.
it's really
I
that
think
simple.
that's really important. Ever since our conversation about this, though, I've also noticed that the good old Google has been feeding me dash cam ads, and I've actually seen some that are look fairly simple to install, but they run and they just run, but they
Yeah,
don't capture everything. But it's made to detect when there's an impact or when there's a
sure.
moment
And then
and
it'll
capture.
back up. I know. And
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
wild.
why I don't have it. I guess I just
I
don't
need to
like the
get one.
little cord. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
dude.
so
Okay,
it's
well, wait. Can I? So I texted you the other day, and I was like, "Holy blank! This crash was insane." We
got the
were,
semi tractor trailer.
uh,
The guy brake checks him.
no, no, no. So I'm driving with Aerith in the seat with me, and we were headed to the store, and just up ahead of us is an intersection. And suddenly, this car is like it's like an Escalade SUV. It is coming at us in our lane, and
Mhm.
I was like, "What the heck is going on?" And it kind of like swerves and wiggles, and then runs off the side of the road, down and up the embankment, and almost hits one of the cars on a car lot. And I'm sitting here like, I mean, is this a TV show? Like, what the heck is going on, man? And then I get up to the intersection, and there's a truck. There's another car here. The truck's wheel is blown off, and it is sitting on its frame on the ground. I'm like, they probably just bang, like collided.
So there was
I
a
didn't.
crash, and this person
Hmm. And this person was maybe trying to flee the scene and
could
then couldn't
be.
make it. You
Yeah,
know,
could
like
be.
they didn't get far. Dude, it was wow. Just another, dash
Yeah,
cams, uninsured motors. Like, make sure you got
make
it.
sure.
Just, it's
And just
wild.
full coverage does not mean I have the state minimum. But people think I have full coverage. I say, what does that mean? Oh, I got what the state requires. Well,
Right, right, right.
that's minimum coverage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, it's
Yeah.
what time? Guess
Oh,
what? Let's see something here.
hit it.
Let's see. We have a special edition. Oh, not that one. Let's see, because there was a big event in New York City today. Did you hear about it?
No,
All right, let's see. Hold on.
no.
Let's get Leanne. See if I think she might have been taking a test.
Ooh,
She may not happen. She may not
ooh.
answer.
Okay. Okay, I can cue up some sounds. Hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a.
All right, well, we're not going to bother. Well, either way, dude, there was an
Okay.
earthquake
Oh,
in New Jersey / New York City today.
really?
Yeah, Leanne said they were walking, her and her friend, her roommate, were walking, and kind of just felt a little something, something. It was like, what the heck was that? And then, didn't think much about it, and get back in, and the people were like, a few things kind of moved on the walls, nothing major, just a little shake and bake.
Huh.
But it was just like I said. She goes, well, there's a little earthquake, and again, it didn't do much, but it's enough to know that you were, in a little quake action.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
went, long story short, when I went to do a depot in Los Angeles several years ago. I was sitting, I know you're going to be shocked, but I was sitting at a drinking establishment, and it was
That's the way
after
every good
that.
D&D
I
story
know
starts.
it's amazing. So it was
Every D
about
and D
five
campaign.
5 o'clock or so, and I'm sitting there, and it was a sports bar or whatever,
Uh huh.
and the TVs are here, and there was this chandelier starts doing this.
Yo,
I'm like, what
it's
the
time
hell?
to get out.
Yeah, what is that?
You're
And
like, how many drinks in am I?
it lasted 30 seconds, and then the girl comes. She goes, "Hey, did you feel the earthquake?" I'm like, "Is that what that was?" I'm like, "I have
Wow.
officially been in an earthquake." But
Bucket
dude,
list
I can
item
I
check.
can tell you, um, it would be no bueno if it was a big one,
Yeah, man.
because the earth freaking moves when it moves.
Under my feet, I
Yeah.
feel. Oh, sorry.
All right, 1:30. Take us out.
you,
75 degrees and sunny. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. Can't
you
speak for the
got it.
rest of the country because there's a nor'easter up there with snow and rain and sleet and hail.
Oh,
It
man.
is blue skies, 75 degrees,
Yeah.
no rain in sight. So, with that, we are done for this Friday. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
And Jason, stay safe up there with all the crazies.
You got it. You got it. We'll roll it out.
Read and read. It's like having a lawyer in the family.